Now I think I was a late developer. I was, like when I was in school, I was okay. But next year when I went to the varsity, I was 20. I mean, my speed improved 3 times and I immediately got into the Sri Lanka team. You see, so I think I matured a hell of a lot in that 1 year. And I found myself in the 17, 15 seed, I walked into the Sri Lanka team. So
isn't there a sort of process where they can, as in like an...
No, these are things. There has to be talent scouts for every district. And then you have to identify the players who would be good when they are 21, 22. You know, not when they are 18, 19. Now some people like, say, very important position like scrum half, stand off and a centre. You know, you can't play scrum half, stand off or centre if you have not been playing rugby for a long time. But you can play as prop, second row, blind side, wing forward, learning rugby at the age of 20, 21 even. Most of the police and army fellows can be trained. Norman Silva is a classic example, the police captain and former national selector. I think he never played rugby in school. And he came to the police and he played prop and he was a huge success. But he could never play centre or stand off because you have to have the thing in your body to play in those positions. So you must identify the players who are going to play in sort of pivotal positions, game-breaking positions, and the others, you have fellows who are prepared to even put their neck into a rail track. You know, you can get them from the forces and whatever. So you have to have a plan, and we can easily come up to number 4 or 3 or remain there nationally. But jobs are a problem now.
Doctor, you were able to balance rugby while studying at the varsity. How do you think people nowadays can cope with that?
Now I think the studies are a bit difficult, you see, because studies was not a problem to me because those days all the lecturers came to watch the matches. There was no cricket, there was nothing else, there was no TV. So for a rugby match there was about 20,000. So, and exams were no problem because of them, I must tell you. So playing rugby was more difficult than medical college.
So what are the steps we can take to develop schools rugby and...
No, schools rugby, I mean you don't have to do anything for school rugby. The school boys associations have taken over and there are rival matches and there are big social fixtures. All you need is to have from the rugby union or the province talent scouts who will just go there and identify players. That's all. You don't have to put any money. Nothing. It's there. And it will be envied by all the other countries because no country has this. And then find the people and see whether they are prepared to play for Sri Lanka and undergo rigorous training. That's all we have to do. But majority, the parents will say that they have to do a job, they have to educate themselves, which is of course true, you see. At the end of it, what are you going to do? So you have to have certain career opportunities given to them. But now everybody wants to go abroad and that has become the order of the day because in my time, 1972, 1973, you couldn't find anybody who had gone abroad. And if you go abroad, people will just come and meet you just for the sake of meeting you. Now you can't find anybody who has not gone abroad. You see, the entire thing has changed. Because rugby is a good game, it's a huge game. There is a lot of comradeship, you learn a lot. And of course, there has to be a plan of providing employment for their educational aspirations. Otherwise it's going to be difficult. Otherwise you have people who are playing rugby are not employable. That's the other problem. You see? But then the forces. Now is a time that the war is finishing. The forces might not have too much work. Get them to play rugby. Yes, and we can form a front five. The second row is the prop forward, even my time. The front row was from the forces. M.F. Fernando, Ilex from Navy, Rodrigo from the Army. The 3 of them used to hold the entire other pack and we didn't have to do any shoving. So you can, because they are disciplined, they'll come for practices, they wouldn't want air-conditioned rooms or practices, they'll come from the barracks, They are tough. So you need tough fellows to play rugby. Not fellows who are wrapped in cotton wool and ask for this, that and the other. Those days when we were injured, we never even told. That if you told Sumanaratnam you are injured, finish, okay, you stay out, there will be 10 others waiting to come to your place. You see? So even with a hamstring injury, I never told. You have to just bite the bullet and run. But now when the fellows get injured, they put their hand up and say, you are injured, take me somewhere, here, there, everywhere. You see, so, I mean, you've got to be tough. Because this is a training for life. And if you are soft, later on you will fall. But if you are tough, you can continue.
So as you said, the Sri Lankan schools, rugby is huge in
oh yes, all over the, I mean, you take in the world, ours is the best. As far as entertainment, competition, enthusiasm, you don't get this anywhere in the world. So,
so there has been a lot of controversy about the whole schools circuit where the games have been postponed, and then now yesterday the fixture was out, the new fixture says what's happening to schools rugby now?
No, you see, the thing is, one way of looking at it is why there is controversy and why there is fixture problems is because there are so many people wanting to play rugby. No?
Yeah.
Now, if there are only very few schools wanting to play rugby, there will be no controversy. If there are 8 schools in Sri Lanka who are playing rugby, that's no problem. But here about 20-30 wants to play, and then it has to be put into a proper perspective, and I think the rugby union now, the president has handed you over to Lachatakun Ratna. And I think in the future, there will be somebody from the SLRF overlooking that.
The present year interim committee, how does the rugby union look at it as a voted in interim committee, without an interim committee, a voted in committee?
No. Actually we have had this, this is the first time in the history of rugby there is an interim committee. The reason for the interim committee was that the council was not properly constituted. It is mandatory for council members who are elected to have played A division rugby at least. So there were certain members who had not played A division rugby, and there was a complaint, the minister looked into it, there was an investigation, and the powers vested with him allowed him to dissolve it because the council was not properly constituted. So now the interim committee has to call for an election. There are some constitutional amendments that has to be done that will be taken up on the 5th, the final draft, and then we will have an AGM within the next couple of months.
So just before we wrap up, sir, where does Sri Lanka rugby go from here, sir?
Well, of course, Sri Lanka, now, of course, the most important thing is the IRB and the Asian Rugby Football Union has got their act together.